Among all the obscure and infatuating lightsabers in Star Wars canon, to the rotating weapons of the Inquisitors, to the unstable crossguard wielded by the Dark Warrior Kylo Ren, the Darksaber used primarily by the Mandalorian Pre Vizsla, later passing hands to Darth Maul, is one we know very little about. The Darksaber has become a fan favorite, but the fact we have so little knowledge about it, and because it behaves so differently from other variants of the weapon, even from the more obscure ones, adds so much intrigue into it. I believe there is so much that is hidden surrounding this weapon that may in fact make it one of the most powerful and dangerous lightsabers in the Star Wars universe, not to mention quite possibly one of the first lightsabers ever constructed. To start with the Darksaber, we must look at other lightsabers and more importantly, what causes them to contain certain characteristics that are seen in nearly all the other weapons, but the Darksaber is strangely lacking. The main power source of a lightsaber is the Kyber Crystal, which is the contributing factor to the color of the lightsaber blade. All Kyber crystals are originally clear, but once claimed by a Force sensitive, the crystal adopts a color reflective of the owner's state in the Force. Often, Jedi receive colors such as green or blue, and Sith red. There has only ever been one lightsaber seen with a black blade in the whole of Star Wars canon, our very own Darksaber. What this likely means is the Darksaber holds much less in common with the more classic weapon than we have all assumed thus far. Perhaps the most important piece with all of this is learning where the weapon came from. What we know for sure is that thousands of years before the Clone Wars, the Mandalorians stormed the Jedi Temple and found the Darksaber. In the Clone Wars, Pre Vizsla explains this to Obi-Wan Kenobi. This lightsaber was stolen from your Jedi Temple by my ancestors during the fall of the Old Republic. Since then, many Jedi have died upon its blade. The Mandalorians that found the weapon were from Clan Vizsla, and it was said they claimed it thousands of years ago, and it has been passed down within the clan through the generations. Perhaps the most important and intriguing piece about this origin is where the Mandalorians actually found it. Although the specifics are not gone into, it is not mentioned that they killed a Jedi to claim the weapon, simply found it within the temple. What this indicates to me is that this weapon is an ancient one, even as of the time when it was claimed by the Mandalorians thousands of years before the Clone Wars. The Jedi Temple is home to various artifacts discovered by the Jedi and held there for generations, making it the home of some of the most dangerous artifacts in the entire galaxy. This leads me into the next piece. In all likelihood, when the weapon was claimed by Clan Vizsla, it was not in use by the Jedi Order. The Darksaber, when activated, is not only said to have a dark blade, but it is described as sucking the light out of the area surrounding the blade. I believe this was not a weapon crafted by the Jedi Order, this lightsaber being far more ancient than presented to us in the Clone Wars. Along with it sucking the light out of the areas around its activation, point to a much more sinister place of origin. In Legends, before lightsabers were developed, darkside warriors called Force Hounds used a weapon said to easily corrupt users due to the weapon's construction heavily involving the dark side. These weapons produced a similar blade to a lightsaber. The weapon was crafted through using crystals, same as a lightsaber, but also channeling dark energy into the weapon to form a blade. This was done through a process that is known as Darkside or Sith Alchemy. The purpose of Sith Alchemy was to use the dark side to alter the physical realm, changing something forever due to prolonged and powerful exposure to the darkness. This is what made these weapons so dangerous. They were not forged by one's own intentions or current state, but the power of the dark side itself. In many cases, those that used this weapon experienced a purple blade, but the Rakata also experienced the weapon producing an orange one. An interesting thing, however, is these weapons also sucked the light out of surrounding areas and carried a dark aura, much similar to another weapon we see utilized thousands of years later. This dark side weapon was known as a Force Saber. However, I do not believe the Darksaber is a Force Saber, since it is explicitly stated the weapon is in fact a lightsaber. This being said though, the Darksaber may have a lot in common with the Force Saber, being almost a hybrid of a modern lightsaber and the Force Sabers. I also believe the Darksaber may not only be one of the earliest lightsabers we know of in canon, but perhaps one of the first lightsabers ever. As said prior, the Force Saber was developed long before the lightsaber, but eventually the lightsaber was invented, and Jedi took similar concepts from the Force Saber but avoided the darkness necessary to create one. What I believe is that the Darksaber was crafted with a crystal more similar to a lightsaber, but with Sith Alchemy, the crystal was corrupted and changed, causing the crystal to turn a unique black color. Beyond simply filling the crystal with one's inner darkness, the crystal itself was altered and corrupted to the core by a very powerful and pure version of the dark side of the Force. The Darksaber was likely a stepping stone from the Force Saber to a regular lightsaber, but the importance of the weapon may not end here. The Darksaber was hidden away in the Jedi Temple as a result of its darkness, and after Clan Vizsla claimed the weapon, they also unknowingly inherited that darkness. I believe it could be possible the weapon may have somewhat influenced the generations to follow of Clan Vizsla, feeding on their hatred and darkness to the point where as the rest of Mandalore became peaceful, the influence of the weapon cemented them in their warrior beliefs of the past. Now with the lightsaber making a return to Rebels Season 3, I fear for its power more than ever, as Sabine is now in possession of the ancient, evil weapon. So that is my theory and believed origin of the Darksaber. Not a weapon crafted by any Jedi, or maybe not even a Sith, but one forged out of the darkness, and now in possession of one of the members of the Ghost crew and Mandalorian Sabine Wren from Clan Vizsla. This leads me into another theory where Sabine may prove to be far more important than many of us realize. However, all will not be revealed just yet. Stay tuned, as in just a short while, Dashstar will appear on the channel to explain the mystery of Sabine Wren. If you have any other lore topics or questions you want answered, do not hesitate to tweet them at me at Stupendous Wave on Twitter, or leave a comment below and I will try my best to answer or make a full video dedicated to your topic. Sorry for a little bit of a cliffhanger, but the theory on the Darksaber is complete and the theory to come should prove to be really exciting and cool if it all ends up to be correct. As always, thank you so much for watching. It means the absolute world. May the Force be with you and have a great day.